right, Shalom. I want to start by giving our praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who teach and rule well, and also to their elders, the men that taught them. I pray the Lord have peace, blessings, and mercy upon the households of the hopeful elect. This is the brother Shema One from the Great Millstone Houston Church, and I want to come with a quick lesson going into how it's a great relief to understand and to have faith in the will of the Lord. You know, where the things that take place in our lives, we don't get offended. You know, we accept it and keep looking towards the Lord, no matter if it's, you know, a very, you know, bad thing, you know, a evil time, evil meaning bad time, a very bad time, or, you know, if it's not so bad. Either way, we still look towards Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, because this is a part of our course, as the scriptures tell you. You know, our way of life isn't gonna be, you know, simple and sweet. It's gonna be different, okay, especially as Israelites, because we are the Lord's people. Let's start with that. This is Ecclesiasticus, or Sirach 17:17. It says, "For in the division of the nations of the whole earth, he set a ruler over every people, but Israel is the Lord's portion." Israel is the Lord's portion. All right. And with that being said, let's go to Hebrews chapter 12 and 6. Hebrews 12 and 6, it says, "For whom the Lord loveth." Oh man, these people can't drive. Hebrews 12 and 6, it says, "For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." Okay, and thinking about especially, you know, what happened with us breaking the Lord's covenant, breaking the agreement that the Lord made with us, we suffered the curses. The Lord put us under the hands of our enemies. You know, those curses that you can read about in Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter, that falls upon us, being the Israelites, but understanding that's something that we're going to come out of. The scriptures tell you that the Lord is going to put the curses upon our enemies. So they're going to come off of us and be upon our enemies. Okay, this is just a passing through. All right. And with that passing through, acknowledging that, it'll help us, you know, get through it that much easier. It brings a sense of comfort because we understand that the Lord told us that this was going to happen. All right. And even Yahweh Shah said it real quick. Revelations 3 and 19. It says, "As many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. It says it says, "Be zealous, therefore, and repent." And going into that word chasten real quick, it's G38:11. And it says to train children to be instructed or taught or learn. Let's see. It says, "Of those who are molding the character of others by reproof and admonition." To chasten, it says to chasten by the affliction of, it says to chasten by the affliction of evils and calamities. So experiencing bad times, experiencing misfortunes or hardships, that is our portion, because the Lord is training us up. He's molding us into something different. That's why we get dealt with different compared to any other nation, as it says in Daniel chapter 9 and I believe the 11th verse. But Second Ezra, the 7th chapter, let's go there. Second Ezra chapter 7 and verse 10. And if you read up, it goes into, you know, entering into the kingdom, or entering into an inheritance, or, you know, receiving an inheritance. But in order to get the inheritance, you got to go through the difficulties, along the path to get there. And going into our experience, in this walk. Okay, so it says, 2 Ezra 7:10, and I said, it is so, Lord. Well, let's read 9. It says, if this city, hold on 1 second. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, speaking about the kingdom, and understanding the kingdom is going to be on earth. Okay, everlasting life. The joy that you read about in the scriptures, that's going to take place on earth. The kingdom of Israel is going to be on this planet earth. Okay. It says, if this city now were given unto a man for an inheritance, if he never shall pass the danger set before it, how shall he receive the inheritance? So it's gonna be some positions of difficulties. Okay. It says, and I said, it is so, Lord. Then he said unto me, even so also is Israel's portion, because for their sakes I made the world, and when Adam transgressed my statutes, then was decreed that now is done. You could have went, but showing you that's the situation we're in now. Okay, things aren't gonna be how they were. It's gonna be, like it said. Well, let's keep reading. It says, then were the entrances of this world made narrow, straighter, positions of difficulty. Things were gonna be more evil. It's gonna be more of a bad time. It says, full of sorrow and travail. It says, they are but few and evil, full of perils and very painful. And that's how it is. But understanding that we still have to enter into that inheritance, as we read in verse 9. Okay, we have to pass through these dangers. We got to go through these things, and it brings comfort because the Lord is telling us, while they're happening, and even before those great perilous times come. All right, but this is our portion, and the difference is knowing that changes, basically changes the mindset, where you endure, like it says in Micah, he's going to endure the indignation of the Lord. Knowing why? Because he sinned against him. So he's going to wait until the Lord pleases his cause, roughly paraphrasing, and that's our mindset, knowing that this is our portion compared to, the Israelites who aren't mindful, of this, who think that life is supposed to be just sweet and full of pleasures. No, we're on a mission to make it, into that inheritance. But it says, let me go to the GNT real quick. Man, come on. 2 Ezra 7 and 10, it says, in the GNT, it says, that is right, sir. I'll read verse 9. If anyone inherits this city, he cannot take possession of his inheritance without passing through this dangerous entrance. That is right, sir, I said. That is how it is with the people of Israel, he added. I made this world for their sake, but when Adam broke my commands, the world came under my judgment. Then the entrances of this world were made narrow and difficult to travel. They were rough, dangerous, and few in number. Let's go down to the point. Also, it says, verse 18, the righteous then can endure the difficulties of this narrow way because they look forward to the broad and open life of the future, the kingdom. But the wicked must pass through the narrow way without any hope of seeing the broad and open life. And that's the difference. There's a payoff for keeping our eye single, for thinking about the kingdom of heaven first. Last one, 1 Peter 1:15. Just want to get this before I go into the plantation. It says, but as he which called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation. Conversation goes into a manner of life, conduct, behavior. It says, because it is written, be ye holy, for I am holy. Verse 17, it says, and if ye call on the Father, who without respect of persons judgeth according to every man's work, pass the time of your sojourning here in fear. So this is just the passing through. Okay, so we can't enter into that inheritance But this is the narrow and the difficulty and the straight position. That course has to be taken. Okay, and we understand that. That's why we keep looking towards the kingdom to come. All right. So I pray this was edifying to the Lord's elect. And Lord willing, to the next time I say shalom.